So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Rich Clark, Guide to the Right Path. So this week's topic I'm going to talk about, or the topic I'm going to talk about today, is the negative mindset. This is one of the issues we get after anxiety, and we get after motivation and so forth. Negative mindset is something a lot of people suffer with. So I'm going to talk about today the different negative mindset types and how they can significantly impact how a person perceives the world, how they make decisions, and interacts with others. Here are some common negative mindset patterns and how they affect individuals. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and you will experience this a lot, is fixed mindset. So these characteristics of the fixed mindset believe that abilities and intelligence are static traits that can never be developed. And the effects of this is they avoid challenges for the fear of failure. On Friday, I will be sharing the fear of failure and the issues between that. Fear of failure is one of the biggest things most people suffer with, and it also links to anxiety and links to motivation, because the anxiety part of it is worried about how people will perceive you. The motivation is actually to take the risks to do things, and then the negative mindset is that you always believe everything will have a negative outcome. So it's very interlinked within that. The other things that affects is they give up easily when obstacles arise. They view their efforts as fruitless, ignores useful feedback, and the difference is feedback can also that we have to look at constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is actually to help you get better in your work, your relationship, whatever that is. Sometimes feedback can be overly negative as well, but actually constructive feedback is very useful. And most people feel threatened by others' success, and that is also interlinked with the fear of success as well as the fear of failure, because it interlinks, and it's like a seesaw. They kind of match each other. So an example of this is a fixed mindset is a client refuses to try new approaches to solving business problems because that's just not how I think, or I've never been good at that sort of thing. Or you hear this in many places where I've worked in the past, where people would say, we've done it like this before, or more or less saying we're not willing to try something different. Fixed mindsets are not very good in business. They're not very good in entrepreneurial environments, and they're certainly not good up in startups. Because what you need is when you're working, you need to be developing that, and you need to have this positive motivation and mindset to actually achieve. Because if not, you will always come up with hurdles which will actually eventually cause more. And it's like negative mindset is actually like a virus, it spreads. So the next one, which is another negative mindset type, is called catastrophic thinking. And the characteristics of this is the tendency to imagine the worst possible outcomes. Now, we've all met someone who you'll do an event or you'll do something, and always that one person you work with or someone you know will always say the worst possible outcome to happen. We've all met people like it, and it's very frustrating to work with, especially if you're very creative. So the effects of this, it creates uncertainty, anxiety, and stress. It prevents taking action due to paralyzing fear. It focuses energy on unlikely scenarios. And the thing is with unlikely scenarios actually ends up being that they actually, when you have an unlikely scenario you think of in your head, you actually in the end up manifest it. And that does happen to a lot of people. And then they go, oh, why does bad luck happen to me? But then you need to listen to their language. And that's where NLP and hypnotherapy and CBT is very useful to avoid that and also help clients get over that problem. Another effect is the diminishes confidence and one's self-efficiency. And it diminishes confidence not only in the person who has the catastrophic thing, but also around them. It can be very contagious in that respect. So an example is that a person avoids public speaking opportunities because they're convinced they'll completely freeze, everyone will laugh at them, or their career will be ruined. Now, one of the issues I have as a therapist is I have helped many people with public speaking. And a lot of that is people who need to speak in their corporate jobs or whatever for presentations. And within that, they have this issue. And it's usually linked to, with 95% of the clients I've worked with, it's a childhood issue where they try to speak as a child in a classroom or to a family gathering or friends. And they usually either wet themselves or they clamor up or they get frightened.